Okay guys, so welcome to my channel. This is going to be a kind of short video. This video is going to be basically two parts. One part is I'm going to share my experience with sourcing parts for a hydrostatic pump for the Bobcat, which is made by Bosch or Rexroth. And the other part, I'm basically gonna give you a quick update on where I'm standing with this pump. So first, parts. Probably, first of all, I'm no expert by no means in working on hydraulics or this particular pump. I'm just sharing my experience. To me, what usually goes bad on these pumps, which just kind of common sense, are these pistons. Hopefully you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a pretty much completely worn head on this piston, and I think this is probably the common problem or wear problem on these pumps. These pistons, if you go to Bobcat, you can't buy them individually. You will have to buy this whole group. It's called rotating group. Another thing that I think would be a problem area in this pump, this bearing right here. It's I can't remember the name of this bearing, but I think it's called half circle bearing or something like that. It's basically two parts. One part is the bearing in a plastic cage, and another part is the half whatever it's called. So my particular pump my particular unit is 2010 Bobcat T320, and the pump, if I'm not mistaken, is A22 group or whatever it's called. But when I was searching for parts for A22 Rexroth, I couldn't find anything aftermarket, but somehow I found that A10 and A22 share some common parts, share some same parts, and I believe these rollers are not exactly the same, but they are pretty close to where you can use them. So these bearings, if you buy them from Bobcat, and before I tell you the prices, I'm not trying to bash on Bobcat. Some of their parts are way reasonable than third-party prices, but for the most part they're pretty expensive. But the availability, the shipping, the ordering online with Bobcat is so great. Anyway, these bearings right here come in pairs, so basically you get two halves. If you buy rollers themselves and this metal, can't remember the name, the metal part. So if you buy the set for your pump for each side, two sides, it's gonna cost you about $250 with tax, something like that. If you buy them third party, if you buy them on online, and again, if you look for A10 pump, this particular one was A10 VG45, and they looks like they're gonna work on A22 pump. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research first. If you buy them online, third party, you're gonna pay about $40 for one set, I think it's one set. So you're gonna end up paying about $80 versus $250. So I mean, it's not a end of the world, but still significant difference. Now let's get to more interesting parts. So this group right here, you can only buy it from Bobcat as a group like this. You can't buy these pistons individually. Guess how much this group cost? And this is just a piston body, or whatever this called, pistons, and this little plate. Well, actually there's another little part right here. This group cost $1,900. In my case, I didn't need this body because there was no wear on body. This right here. I only needed these pistons. One side of the pump is actually fine. Let me show you if you can see. If you can see these grooves, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it looks pretty good. It even looks like maybe someone went in and replaced them at some point, but I doubt it. But the other side, and actually let me mention this, there's two groups in one pump. One side is for one side of the track, and the other side is for the other side. So basically one side was completely worn out. I don't know if they were making one turns more than the others, have no idea. But what else is interesting about these pistons? There's a tiny hole which you probably can't see right in the middle. That hole goes all the way through this piston. When these pistons go back and forth, they push out a little bit of oil out of this hole. That's my theory. And basically this piston head is floating, and it pretty much, if I'm understanding correctly, it pretty much doesn't touch the surface. It just basically floats in the oil. And if this tiny hole gets clogged, I'm pretty sure this is what happens. So let's talk about prices. Third party, if you buy it online from a pump A10 VG45, which is what I purchased, these right here, brand new, they are pretty much identical to original ones, for the exception of length. You probably can't see it, but one, can't remember which one, and by looking at them I think it's the original one, is just a hair longer, just a tiny longer. I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not, but to me it shouldn't make that much of a difference. The way I understand this pump works, this group works, it's basically when this swash plate is in a neutral position, this group is simply rotates, and as you can probably see, nothing happens. But as soon as you turn, let me see how I can turn it so you can see it. Probably like this. So as soon as you turn the swash plate, once you start rotating, what's happening? Well, this one is kind of stuck. I can't show you, but basically, because there's an angle and rotation, these pistons are going to start going back and forth, pumping the oil. So the third party price for piston like this, I believe there's 9 of them, and 9 of these pistons cost about $110, $120, just these pistons. So if you got if you're working on your pump and you got this kind of situation, you just need to change your pistons. You can get away with very cheaply repairing your pump. Buy two kits, $250, let's say. Just change your pistons. In my case, the new pistons, like old pistons, are very tight, very nice. They're pretty much no play, and these new ones are exactly the same. No play, pretty much no play. I mean, there is like a tiny play in both of these, but I think it's just within the specs. Like once it's in the oil, there will be no play. So you gotta pay about $250 if you just do your pistons. Like if you got heads worn out like that. If you buy not just a group, but if you buy swash plate, shaft, there's a shaft, and those half bearings, guess how much it cost from the Bobcat? It cost $3,700 for this assembly, and that doesn't include obviously doesn't include the pump housing and any of the controls or anything else. So yeah, do your own math, see what's in your case is necessary. Keep this in mind. You can buy these pistons, although they're not available from Bobcat. You can buy them online from the third party. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're also available from Rex Roth dealers. That's another great source where to get parts from. So that's the prices, and that's what I think the most common issue would be for people who own Bobcat with that kind of pump. Now, as far as update on my particular case, so because my Bobcat was basically flooded, in my situation there is quite a bit more parts that need to be replaced. Things like this, like swash plate. This swash plate, I attempted to clean it, but it still has a lots of tiny pits, and I am not sure whether this is gonna cause an issue in the future. This is hardened steel. This is really hard to polish, especially by hand. I don't have a setup to resurface this. So by the time I calculate all the pieces, oh, here's another interesting piece. There is a there's like a control, I don't know what to call it, control module. Let's call it control module, which has solenoids. This is not the exact solenoid, but similar to this one. Have two solenoids on each side, and this controls one side of the pump, basically controls the swash plate. There's a connection between these two, and it controls which way we're gonna go, like forward or reverse. Guess how much this cost? This assembly with two solenoids cost $2,600, I believe, $2,500 or $2,600. So yeah, and you can get this in pieces. I can't remember if you can get this in pieces from Bobcat, but you do have an option to buy it from Rex Roth in pieces, I believe. So after running into parts like this where I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to replace it or not, I made a list, and list ended up being close to $3,500. So I decided to buy a whole pump. Obviously, the pump from Bobcat cost about $6,000. the pump from Rexroth dealer or distributor, they were asking about $4,300 or $4,500, which is significantly less than a Bobcat. But I also found someone selling brand new pump exactly like I'm looking for on eBay. It was also some sort of Rexroth or Bosch distributor, and he wanted $3,500. So what I did, basically, and pump from him would have to be a wait. There would have to be a wait for about 3 weeks or so, and my local distributor can deliver it pretty much right away. So what I did, I called my local distributor and told them that there's an option for me to buy it for $3,500. I asked them if they can come anywhere close to that, and they did. They went down to about $3,800. So shipped to my door, I'm paying about $4,000. So $3,500, and some of the parts are going to be used, and some parts would still have to be cleaned, versus brand new pump dialed in, only $500 more. It's no brainer. Alright, so that's an update for my situation for the hydrostatic pump. If you have any questions, just comment below and stick around for more videos about this Bobcat and other projects.